Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to episode 11 of the Trainer Talk. Today we're going to be talking about the different levels of fitness and nutrition. So as you're starting out, obviously you want to start out with more of the basics, but as you start to progress through your fitness journey, you want to start kind of dialing in to different levels, getting you to maximize your results and live a long, healthy lifestyle. So we're going to start out just kind of talking about the basic levels that you want to try to learn first, and then we'll work our way up. We'll start out with Bethany. She's going to talk about what she thinks would be the best way to kind of gradually work your way up, and then we'll bounce back and forth like we usually do.
So just kind of like a pyramid scheme. So like the base of the pyramid is going to be like stress management, sleep, hormone balance. That's going to be like the basic underlying thing of how your body is actually functioning before you can kind of get into anything else. And we all know that sleep is so important. If you haven't watched our sleep video yet, you'll know why. We have, next one is like the food quality of nutrition. So there's quality and there's quantity. You want to focus on quality first because then that promotes much better functioning of the body, way better like emotions, physical, mental well-being. And then you kind of get into quality or quantity where, okay, we want to eat the good food, but not too much and not too little. We want like that sweet spot. And then
When you say quality, are you just mean like whole foods, kind of like starting to eat better food options?
Yeah, so like very, very minimally processed foods.
Yeah.
So yeah, like most of your food is going to, like, it looks like something either that was alive or was from the ground. And if you left it out on the shelf for like a week, maybe even a couple of days, it would be soiled, it'd be gone. So if you can leave it out on a shelf for a week and nothing happens to it, it's probably a little processed. We all know like stuff that's been in the back of the cupboard for a month that you haven't touched. So try and get rid of that kind of stuff, or at least minimize that.
Yep. Now hang on a second. So I thought fitness would probably be the most important. Like working out would be the most important thing to reach your goals.
No, not necessarily. That's kind of like the next part of it. That's kind of building on top of it because like as humans we're made to like move more and get activity, but that's like, it's not like hardcore working out. That's just daily movement of like, okay, I'm cleaning around the house or I'm taking a walk. We're just made to move more than just sitting at a desk all day and not getting up for like 3 hours until you're like, oh, I'm hungry, I should go and eat something, and then going and grabbing a processed food. So doing something other than that, making sure you're getting up and moving every hour. But we want those base parts because having a solid foundation of a diet is what's going to help you in the long run more than just moving, but then having a very poor quality diet, eating way too much. You're still going to be eating more than you're burning in a day. So when you're eating more than you're burning, you're going to gain weight. Compound that over 10, 20, 30 years, you're at a place where you're like, oh shoot, this isn't good, I have health problems now let's go and work out all the time. Well, you want to focus on that nutrition first, and then you build in the activity. Yeah. And then after that, after your like daily activity is good, you're walking, you're at least doing something, then that's when like the nutrition or the resistance training comes in, where you're lifting weights, you're building muscle, which helps just all functions of the body, helps with fat loss and general
density, strength, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all good health measurements.
No, the reason I asked about why is exercise wasn't number one, why is sleep at the bottom, hormonal balance, stress balance, stuff like that. You recover while you sleep, mentally, physically, everything. So if you are working out or eating better, but you're not, if you're sleeping 2 or 3 or 4 hours a night, you're not going to recover. You're going to be mentally drained. Your hormones are going to be thrown off. You're going to gain weight. You're going to be in a poor mood. So that's why we focus on that first. I just wanted to kind of give them a little explanation on why that's the most important thing and kind of where you want to start. Is just making sure that you're in a good place and you're taking care of yourself by making sure you're getting enough sleep, and then starting to choose more whole foods, improving your nutrition, and then building in the movement with it. That's going to be the first kind of 3 tiers, right? To the pyramid. And then start to dial it in from there. So she mentioned like then you would want to add in, after movements like going for a walk or doing yard work, something where you're just getting some activity, maybe playing a sport or something like that. Then you can add in like the resistance training where you're like a programmed, 2 or 3 days a week where you're actually doing some resistance with weights or something like that. So go ahead, continue from the resistance training.
Yeah.
So.
And like to kind of add on to what you're saying with like the recovery and like you need sleep to recover. Like imagine your like hamster on one of them hamster wheels. If you're not recovering by getting in the proper nutrition or the sleep, but you're working out like every day, you're just spinning there. You're putting in a lot of effort, but you're not going anywhere.
Right.
So that's why we need
spinning your wheels.
Yeah, you're just spinning your wheels. You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You're not moving
You're
yourself
stuck.
forward towards your goals where you want to go.
Yep.
So that kind of helps you break free of that like plateau. Next part is getting into more of like lifestyle type things, getting into more details of it. So this is going to be hydration. We really want to make sure that we're staying hydrated with water and not just a bunch of other stuff like diet.
Drinking a
bombs.
bunch of pop every day doesn't count as your water.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
juice.
Or, yeah,
Or
or
juice.
juice, yeah.
Yeah, fruit
Just
juice
as
is
bad.
yeah, just as much sugar.
Right. And then macros, that's where we get into like how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats you need. Because like typically when you sort out like the nutrition, the food quality, like that's usually a really good starting place, but you might be lacking in the protein, which is typical. Typically people aren't eating enough protein. So that's where you get into the like macronutrients, like make sure you optimize your composition of your food. And then once that's kind of sorted out, you get into your supplements. So, or like micronutrients, right? So if you have like some sort of like vitamin deficiency or you start taking like a multivitamin, some other type of supplement to help aid your recovery, like some sort of like intra-workout or like a protein powder, some BCAAs, amino acids, that sort of thing, or like probiotics, enzymes, that kind of like takes it to the next level. Because like you already have a very solid foundation, this is kind of just like filling in the gaps.
Filling in the gaps.
Yeah. And then step after that would be like meal timing or like the number of meals you eat in a day. There is like an optimal amount depending on like what your goals are. So meal timing for like every 3 or 4 hours, like you eat something, not like a huge meal that's like optimal for like our insulin levels, for health, but it's not necessarily realistic for everyone. Some people like 3 big meals a day, and that's just kind of like what they want. Some people like 10 really tiny snacks a day. We're talking about what's optimal, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do this. That's why this is at the top of the pyramid. It's like one of the nitty-gritty finer details. So with that, it's like you want to be eating carbs and protein, or at least just carbs after a hard workout. So whether it's like resistance training or you're doing some sort of like hard cardio, you're going to want to fuel your body after that, start that recovery process. That's where like the timing sort of comes into it, is around like what you eat before and after training. And then after that, it gets into like even more fine details of like recovery tools. So different like massages or foam rolling and
saunas.
Like, yeah, saunas. There's like the
Ice
hyper
baths.
ice.
All that
There's
kind
like
of
the
stuff.
massage gun
Massage
things
guns,
and
Tens units.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. Or any like other like type supplements that are specifically for recovery.
And that would be kind of more for people that are like taking it very, very seriously.
Right.
Like we work out pretty hard and we train hard in CrossFit specifically. And so we use a lot of those tools because we're training for like a goal, whether it's like a competition or just trying to follow a program. We're trying to reach a certain level. So that's why we'll incorporate some of these tools to get us those results. So it's obviously not necessary for everyone, but if you were to work your way up and dial in to maximize the results, depending on what your goal is, these are kind of the things that you'd want to add in essentially. So
Yeah, and I feel like people too often kind of look at those things that she just mentioned at the top first. They think that those little things are the most important things, when in reality, that was something that I know I personally, and you guys probably didn't get good at until you were already years down the road of doing the basics first. So getting your sleep, like you said, getting good food, finally like trying to find whole foods, stuff you like, different things you like, and moving. Like those three things are the base. Like you got to start there, and then you can work your way up to the macros, the micros, the recovery tools, all those little things. I feel like too many people kind of get tied in. They're like, oh, this supplement's gonna change my life.
Yeah.
And not really. You need to change your life first. Supplement's gonna bump your progress up a little bit. So don't get caught up in that.
I love that you said that, and I think actually for myself, I was almost backwards on it too. Like, first starting out, it's like, okay, what muscle group are we hitting today? It's like, that's a lot less important than some of these foundational things. And I didn't start taking my sleep extremely seriously until like this past year, pretty much, learning a lot more about it, setting a bedtime, making sure we're not exposed to blue light or any light at all, like having my temperature in my room a certain temp, because that could be the difference between fully recovering my mind and my muscles and not recovering at all. And she found an interesting study that 1 night of bad sleep is equivalent to 30 days of poor eating.
Yeah.
So if you think about that for a second, one really, really bad night's sleep is equivalent to 30 days of eating poor nutrition. So if you think, add up multiple nights of bad sleep, you're in for a world of hurt and trying to reverse that process, the effects from it. So make sure you're getting that solid foundation built first with good quality sleep, or at least trying to get more sleep. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to go, I would say, like the temperature and the sleep pills, like sleep multiplier, all that stuff's kind of the higher level, but just try to make sure you're not watching TV until midnight every night before you go to bed. Turn off the TV and try to set a bedtime. Get a quality sleep, that way you're ready for the next day. Start building in your nutrition. Basically, how we do it is we have our clients eat from a list of good, healthy options for proteins, carbs, and fats. We don't give them a calorie goal. We don't give them a macronutrient goal, nothing. We just say, try to improve your daily choices. So that's kind of that second level. And then we also ask them to try to move 3 times a week. So we could start out somebody with walking 3 times a week, just to get started, or maybe 3 body weight workouts at home, something like that. Then we will progress them to the resistance training, like she said. So we'll have them maybe come into the gym 2 or 3 times a week, or join a class 2 or 3 times a week. Maybe they do a one-on-one training session where they're actually led through a workout. That way they're working all their muscles. From there, then maybe if you're progressing, adding in more days, because obviously you can't just work out 2 or 3 days the same amount of time, the same amount of reps, the same amount of weight. You will plateau. So you want to make sure you're progressing through your training program. So adding in an extra day, or adding 15 minutes, or doing an extra couple sets, or more weight, something like that. You want to make sure you're kind of progressing through that. So as you're adding days, then you can kind of focus on breaking it up. Okay, maybe we'll hit lower body this day, upper body that way, or chest and back this day, and arms and triceps. You don't have to worry about exactly what muscles you're hitting every single time. If you're just starting out, kind of build that foundation of movement. We usually start our clients out, if they're doing 2 or 3 days, you can usually do a full body workout for every workout. Just switch up maybe the exercises that you're doing, but it's not as important as just moving your body and eating healthier to get started anyways. Then after you get that resistance training program kind of built, then we'll start to introduce, okay, we're gonna set a calorie goal for you because you're burning X amount of calories in a day based off your lifestyle right now. We wanna make sure you're fueling those muscles that you're burning. So then we'll set a calorie goal and then slowly progress into, okay, you need this amount of protein, and then we'll fill in the blanks with the carbs and the fats. So we're slowly kind of working you up the ladder, dialing in your lifestyle and your habits until you maximize and achieve your goals, essentially.
Right.
And I think one reason that we do it in that manner, and why we start people off just eating from a list, is because if you're trying to throw at them you know, you should eat this many calories and you should eat this much protein and this much fat and this much carbs. Like, it can be really, really confusing for people. I know people that I've had for a little while now that still kind of struggle, like, to understand what macros are, and they are trying to maybe even jump to micros, and I'm like, let's focus on calories. Calories in versus calories out is the most important thing for weight loss. So after we get eating from the whole food list, we get the calorie goal set, and then we do protein first. So protein is, and the reason we do that is because, one, people are almost always way too low on protein. Two is because when you eat and focus on your protein, usually everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
And
as you're working out and you're breaking down your muscles, amino acids are the building blocks of protein, which rebuild the muscle.
Yep.
So you want to get stronger and to gain muscle and strength, you actually have to tear it down and then rebuild it. So in order to rebuild it, you have to eat protein or get those amino acids. Think of them like building blocks to repair. So that's why we start with protein first, because you're doing that resistance training. You want to make sure that you're repairing the muscles so that you can continue to resistance train.
Yep. Yeah, and then once you get comfortable hitting protein goals, then we can start to throw in some micro stuff, and that usually involves like your sodium levels, your sugar levels, vitamins, like different things like that, which are important, but it's not the most important thing. I think a lot of people, like I said earlier about how people get caught up too much in the fine details of just the levels of fitness. People get too caught up in the fine details of just even like nutrition and things like that. They're like, am I getting enough vitamin C or vitamin A? And it's like, that's not really a big deal.
Unless you're like super deficient.
Yeah, yep.
And obviously then you want to take care of it. But most of the time is if you start with the whole foods and you're eating fruits and vegetables, you're gonna be getting plenty of vitamins, unless you're deficient, or if you're sticking to a certain diet, which if we're starting you out, you're not gonna be to a specific diet anyways. But if you're like vegan, for example, I know that they need like more iron and B vitamins and stuff. So that could be something you would add on. So it does kind of depend, but like he's saying, if you're starting out from scratch and just eating more whole foods, you're gonna get your vitamins and minerals from that. But then as you go and start to dial things in more and get more intense through training, you might want to make sure that you're optimizing your levels of your vitamins and minerals, like your vitamin D and vitamin A and all that stuff. I know like in Michigan, 8 months out of the year we're very low in vitamin D because we don't see the sun, so that would be something important to add in. But like you said, it's not the most important thing. Like if you're starting out a diet plan, you know, vitamin D is not going to be the number one thing that we're going to start with.
Yeah.
We're going to start you out with, you know, eating more whole foods, moving your body first, and then slowly kind of work up to that.
Yep. And that's just how it goes. That's the best way to do it. I love the way that Bethany made it into almost like a pyramid, because it should be like that. You should be going from one big thing to the next big thing. Like it should just be steps and steps. And you realize pretty quickly in fitness and like health and nutrition in general that it's a long walk. It's a long road to where you want to be. Like we look at Taylor, and he's like a pillar of fitness, and especially in our community, we have a small community, and like he's like one of the most fit people around. But he didn't start like that. You started really from the bottom and have like slowly worked your way up. You just said it, like recently this year you've kind of focused more on sleep and recovery and different things like that. Like it's taken you years on years to start to focus on that. So don't get so caught up in that, and like just start somewhere. Just start somewhere, and you'll slowly find like levels to it.
Yep, exactly. And we're basically like the guinea pigs. You know, we're out here learning all this stuff, putting in the time, finding the information, trying it out, seeing how it works. And we're taking all that information, we're compiling it and giving it to you guys. So that way you don't have to do the research, you don't have to try it out on your own or figure out what works and what doesn't work. We're getting all the information, we're giving it to you guys, and we try to compile it into a program that's doable and sustainable for you guys to learn it. Basically 10 times faster than we are.
Yeah.
You know, I've been working out for 10 years compiling information and trying out different things that we could put into a program to teach you guys in less than a year. You know, the necessary habits essentially that you need to really reach your goals and optimize your body and your health. So that I think is really cool. And if you ask anybody, any professional or entrepreneur or really successful person, they put in the years and had to learn, had to make all the failures and mistakes and try to learn everything they learned. But then when they teach somebody, they're just saving that person from having to go through those same things. So as trainers and coaches, we're the guinea pigs. We're doing all this stuff. We're trying new things and we're doing the research and all that stuff. And we're just giving you the best information that we've all compiled over the years, essentially. So hopefully we can obviously help you guys optimize your health and reach your goals much, much faster than if you try to do it on your own.
Yeah.
That's instead of if you want to go to Maui, you can try to swim there on your own, but you might not make it. We're basically giving you like the first class private plane to Maui. We're giving you everything you need. All you gotta do is hop on and we'll get you there. It's basically kind of what we're trying to do and accomplish with our programming, with our coaching, with the business and everything.
And it's to get somewhere that you'll be comfortable for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like
Sustainable.
once you these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we talk about, do you want to add more in there, or should we talk about like the phases that we created, or?
We'll talk about that a little bit. I just kind of wanted to add, just like for when I started, and I really didn't know anything about like health, nutrition, or anything, and I was like, man, people start off kind of like insecure about their body, especially when you're like a teenager, and I'm like, oh, 30-day ab program, maybe that'll work. So I downloaded an app and I did a 30-day abs every morning, 5 minutes. Nothing changed, and I'm like, well, that didn't work. It's like, what the heck? It said it was going to give me abs in 30 days. Yeah, so that's why we're trying to have you guys avoid those pitfalls that we've made over the past years. And then we just keep on learning and learning, trying to refine and make this even better so it's even more effective. And with like our program, like it takes you through the whole pyramid in the order that it should be. But we don't move you on until you can do each. Like that's not the thing. We're not like, you have to move on every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. Like we're moving you on no matter what. It's like, no, you can move on as fast as you want. Like if you come in and you're like, okay, I got this all done. I do my resistance training. I do my good sleep, good nutrition quality and amount and everything. So if you get all that good, we'll move you on pretty quickly. And then you'll go through it even faster, optimize your health.
What if we said if somebody was doing it very, very serious, what would we say? They could probably learn everything that we know, or not everything, but everything we would want someone to know in like 9 to 10 months.
Yeah, easily,
Yeah.
I would think if somebody had a decent general knowledge of stuff, with what we have to teach them, they could adopt the habits in less than 6 months. In 16 to 24 weeks, we can teach you almost everything you need to know. It's whether you stick with it or not, and that's part of the accountability part of it. Mm-hmm. 16 to 52 weeks is kind of the range that we put on what it would take to learn all the habits and information that you need to literally change the rest of your life. So when you think about that for a second, if you're gonna live to be another 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, from where you are now, not to live to be 40, but live another 20, 40, 60 years, it can change the rest of your life in literally a year.
Yep.
So, that's pretty powerful when you actually break down and think about it. And that's what we're basically trying to do is, she's doing courses, he's doing courses, I'm learning as much as I can and testing stuff out, and we're meeting every single week. We meet right here for an hour before we do this, and we bounce ideas off each other, and we're just trying to put together the best program and help as many people in the community as possible. I think it's really cool that in the last year, these guys have become certified and wanting to stay in the area. I was the only full-time trainer and coach in the area for like the last 3 years, and now we just hired Caitlin too, so now there's 4 of us able to bounce ideas and bring knowledge to the table and improve our programming and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about that as well. To try to give you guys as much as you need to reach your goals and optimize your health. So
yeah, I think the community could use it too. So it's definitely not something that's stressed around here, is health and nutrition. And I hope even someday we can kind of make our way into I know we're impacting people's lives, and hopefully they're bringing that into their own lives and their families and whatnot, but like to be able to go into maybe like a school and talk about this type of stuff, it would be really cool. And like to learn just a few basic things when, if like, think about it, if you were in high school or even middle school and learned a few of the basic things, like how much it could have helped you versus where you
I
started.
think about that all the time. I think about if I would have known this stuff when I was younger, how much different, my health and where I would be at with my fitness level too.
Athletics.
It'd be insane.
Yeah.
And I hope parents and kids actually resonate with that and understand that, if you sign up your kid for a program for 3 months, and you're worried about the cost or something, don't look at it as a 3-month program that costs $300 or $400, whatever it is. That can literally change their life forever. I've had kids that did my athletic training program when they were 12 that still work out to this day, and they're 15, 16, 17. They're in amazing shape, and they actually take their health seriously. They're in the gym 3, 4, 5 times a week. I've had high schoolers that are telling me that they're starting to eat better, all that kind of stuff. So it's actually incredible to see the impact that you can make from making those changes. So yeah, like you said, I really hope that we can impact more people, and especially kids, to want to start taking their health seriously and start with these foundational pieces to help improve their nutrition, and then they're just going to become, a better athlete, better student, all that kind of thing as they're going through life. So very powerful stuff. I'm really excited about it. We'll kind of get into a little bit of the phases that we have created. So we do obviously personal training with one-on-one clients. We do online coaching, which is something that we added last year when we shut down over COVID. And then we combine our online with the gym, which is called our hybrid coaching, where you actually train in person, but you also get the online coaching as well. And we created a nutrition and kind of lifestyle program that's broken into 4 phases, and they're kind of these essential things to reach your goals. So we start you out very basic, just eating from a food list, like Austin mentioned, trying to improve your habits. After you've kind of adopted those habits and started to improve your nutrition, we make sure that you're moving 3 times a week. So whether you start out just walking, or if you start out with 3 workouts, that would be great. And then by the end of that first phase, we want to try to set a calorie goal for you. That way you're at least getting the right amount of fuel your body needs based off that exercise that you're doing. From there, we start to dial in a little bit more with phase 2. This is where we usually see the most amount of results, is because we'll actually set that protein goal, we'll set the carb and the fat goal for you, your macros, and we'll start to make sure that your workouts are progressing. Like I said, if you do the exact same workout all the time, every day for a year, you're going to plateau and you're not going to see results. You have to increase the volume of training and progress through it. Whether it's increasing weight, reps, or doing more sets or more time, whatever it is, you want to make sure you're progressing. That's what we make sure that we're doing that for you guys. So phase 2 would be a little bit more increased exercise load, dialing in your nutrition a little bit more with the macros. Then we move into phase 3, which is kind of more the lifestyle. So like what you mentioned, the micronutrients, like the vitamins, the minerals, the supplements, things like that. We start to add those in. It's in like hydration, like setting a water intake goal, things like that. Make sure that we're optimizing your body's function is really important. Once you can do that, the last phase is the most important. It's the maintenance and sustainability. Because you can do all this for the first 12, 16, 20 weeks, but unless you maintain it forever, there's no point in doing it. And I don't believe in quick fixes. We don't do quick fixes. We do jump starts to get people motivated, but that usually leads into something like this where we actually take them through the program. But I would rather take 6 months to teach somebody everything they need to know to live a long, healthy life than have them lose 30 pounds in 4 weeks. Because I know that person is just going to revert back to their old habits. Next year, they're going to have to do it all over again. And that's not what we want. We want lifestyle change. We want to impact and teach you guys the necessary habits that we already have taken 10 years to learn, or however long. We want to teach you guys those, in a reasonable time frame, at a pace that's good for you, like you said. That way you're able to sustain it and maintain it forever. Not to mention, the nutrition and things like that doesn't have to be, there's no specific meal plan that's the best. It's whatever is going to work for you. So that's why we start with the food list. We have a ton of different options on there. You pick what you like the best off that list, and then we build on that.
Yeah, and I think some people are looking for a food list or a food plan where it's laid out, like we tell you what to eat, which I don't see the point in it. I'm glad that you don't do it that way, because like people want to eat some certain things that they might like way more than other people. So to have the food list and maybe eat, like we always say, 80% off that, and then like you have your fun foods, the stuff that you really enjoy also with it, instead of just telling, hey, you're gonna eat this for breakfast, you're gonna eat this for lunch, you're gonna eat this for dinner. First off, it's probably not gonna work. It's not gonna be something that you would stick with anyway.
Yeah.
And that's really tough from our standpoint too, to tell people things like that, because to write out a whole recipe food list like that it's not ideal.
To be honest, like if we could write out a meal plan, and it might work really good.
Yeah.
It might work better, but you'll never stick with it.
Exactly.
You'll fall off track and you'll have to restart. So what's the point of even doing it anyways if you got to restart in a year from now? So that's why we would rather it takes more time, it takes more effort from you. It definitely takes a little bit of work, but you don't get anywhere unless you work for it.
Right.
And if you did get somewhere without working for it, you don't get the satisfaction.
Yep.
You're not likely to stay there too.
Yeah, and you're not going to stay there. So we kind of get you out of your comfort zone. We're going to make you work a little bit, but the result is going to be that much more satisfactory. You're going to feel so much better. Once you achieve that goal, your whole life's going to change. And we've seen it with some of our clients that have actually gone through this program and finished the whole thing and are continuing to optimize their nutrition and their fitness and their lifestyles. Their whole lives have changed, not just physically. We don't just train you to lose 40 pounds in 6 months. Like, we're training you to, have more mental energy, less stress. Like, you feel way better mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. Your relationships are better. Everything a part of your life is actually improved once you optimize these areas of your life.
Yep.
And I think everybody could probably say the same for that. So that's really cool about it as well. Probably my favorite part is seeing people that were on the verge of being depressed, stressed, very low self-esteem, didn't want to be seen, didn't want to look in the mirror. All of a sudden they're vibrant. When they walk in, they got a smile on their face, they're confident, they move, you can just tell that they feel 10 times better. That's like the most rewarding thing as a trainer, seeing your client go through that transformation. So that's what that whole lifestyle coaching, what we do as far as our 4-phase coaching is all about. Is kind of the whole lifestyle transformation. Obviously, it's geared toward dropping body fat, building muscle, whatever your goal is, but it's changing from where you're at now, teaching you everything you need to know to live like that. Optimize your health, happier, healthier, things like that. So, if you're stuck in a position where you haven't been able to reach your goals, if you've tried diet plans and workout plans and all that stuff in the past, but you haven't stuck with it, or you reverted back to old habits, don't quit. The worst thing you can do is just quit trying. Always keep trying. You will only learn from your failures, and you will gain something from those failures. You'll learn, okay, this isn't for me, now I know what not to do. Try this out. We're here, we're constantly learning and applying new things to it. We just developed the 4-phase system of it. We've already been doing it, but we didn't break it down in the levels that we have until a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So if we're constantly refining and trying to improve it, and we've already been transforming people's lives, so it's only going to get better and better. So I can't wait to see how much more people can do. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, or if you want to reach a goal that you haven't been able to, don't hesitate to reach out. We've got 4 coaches available, so we will help you out in any way that we can.
Yeah, even just to talk, just to see, okay, is it a good fit for you? I mean, some people aren't looking for a plan like this, but hey, we're looking for the people that really want to make a change. So that's why we just want to talk. We're not we're just trying to see what your goals are and if you're willing to do what we ask, because then we can get you there. But it's all about just reaching out first and no commitment, just
Yeah.
free talk, phone call, message, whatever, and then we can kind of see if it'll work for you. A big thing of it, which we just made a post about this on Monday. If you get 1% better every day, by the end of the year, you're going to be 37 times better than you were when you started. Now, if you are only, like, if you're getting worse 1% each day, or even staying the same, if you stay the same, you know, no change, of course. But if you get 1% worse, then you're actually going to be 80% worse than when you started. So if you kind of think about that and like your daily habits, and like if you stay the same, but if your normal or same is, you know, eating fast food every day and getting only like 5 hours of broken sleep a night, like that compounded over time is what leads to disease and pretty much an early death. But if you fix something 1% each day, that leads to a life of better quality, better health, longer, happier, healthier life.
Yeah. Think of it like compounding on your investments. It's no
Yeah.
different. You know, you put money away and it's growing at 4, 5, 10%. You know, you're compounding over time. It might not be very much right now, but it's growing and growing and growing. And then all of a sudden, years down the road, you have this surplus. You know, you've compounded so much. So putting in a little bit of effort and making yourself a little bit better every day. You know, every little workout counts, even if it's just a short one. Eating a little bit better counts, even if you're not eating perfectly. So making those small improvements will compound over time, like she's saying. And the more time you put in, the better the return is going to be. And we're constantly not only putting in the work day to day, but we're also improving the quality of our work every day too. We're trying to eat better as we go. We're trying to sleep more as we go. We're trying to improve our workouts. So our compounding is we're going to have a higher rate of return as we go. And that's what we're trying to show you guys, is basically to optimize your rate of return on your time. So putting in the minimal amount of time to get the maximum amount of return.
Yep.
So it's no different than investing. You know, you got to invest in yourself. And it will change your life. So, is there anything else to add, you guys?
I think we touched on it. We're not around for the quick fixes and the diets that lose you 10, 15 pounds in a week or a month. Or we're here for the long road, because we all realize how important, like, year after year after year, just like sticking with good habits and doing the right things, like you said, how much you can compound and return to yourself. Like, it's just the quality of life is going to improve, and that's what we're trying to teach here, is how to improve the quality of life.
Yep. I mean, and I'd just like to add, like, you know, we talked about, we didn't start like this. You know, we started from somewhere and got to here. You know, I started out, I was 16 years old and I hit a growth spurt. I grew 6 inches, but I didn't gain any weight, so I was this twig at 6'1", 135 pounds or whatever I was. And I just said, I'm a little bit low self-esteem, like I want to look better. And that's kind of what got me started. And it's funny because we talked about the levels and the importance. The only thing I knew was that you needed a lot of protein when you're lifting weights. So I was counting protein on everything I ate, but I was eating like pizza rolls, like the worst diet ever, but I was counting my protein.
Yeah.
And I was making sure I was hitting this protein goal. But we didn't know any better. And
We've all made mistakes, but we've learned from them.
yeah, but the thing I loved about it was I felt amazing, and I was seeing results, and I just felt great. And then I took that and I said, I want to make other people experience this. I want to help other people that are struggling, you know, feel as good as I do. So that's what made me want to become a trainer and spend the last 5 years now trying to help people in our little community live a healthier, happier lifestyle. So that's kind of where it started from, and we've slowly taken everything that we've learned over the last few years and compiled it into a program that's going to help you, ultimately reach your goals. And like she said, this is for somebody that really wants to change or has a goal in mind. And whatever goal you have to have a powerful why behind it. You can't just have a goal. If you come in and say, I want to lose 30 pounds because I have a cruise in 6 months, I'm going to say, well, this isn't the program for you. Because you're going to lose 30 pounds, you're going to go on a cruise, but then you're gonna put it all back on. Like, what was the benefit from it?
Yeah.
You know, you're not making a lifestyle change. You don't actually care to improve your health. I want people that want to be there for their kids when they're old, and maybe their grandkids, be able to play with them, have the energy and the strength to, you know, live a long, healthy lifestyle without disease is kind of our goal. Because right now, the lifestyle we live in, the world we live in, you have a very, very high chance of, you know, getting some kind of disease or dying early death. Bethany mentioned that if you're obese, your lifespan is 20% less than not being obese just by having that extra weight on your body. So if you can imagine living to 75 but you're obese, you're living to 55. And that's something that we want to try to change, because obviously people want to be there for their kids and their families and things like that. They just want to feel better. So that's what we're doing this for, those kind of people. So if you're struggling with that, feel free to reach out to us and we want to help you. So I think that pretty much wraps up today's episode. We went a little longer than we probably wanted to, but that's okay. Until next time, you know, feel free to reach out and get a hold of us. Free consultations, like she said. I'll hop on the phone with anybody and have a conversation with you, find out what your goals are, what you might need to achieve that goal, and then we get you started on whatever is best for you. We'll just try to help you in any way we can. So don't hesitate to reach out. A free phone call never hurts anybody. Or just feel free to stop in and chat with us. We're pretty much always here at the gym. So until then, have a good day, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Later.
See ya.